Hello? Hello?
Stream, have we returned? Are we back onto the thing?
I'm still losing
We're
frames though. I don't know why. This is very confusing.
Hello, friends. We have returned. Apparently.
Oh. Okay, I'm gonna leave it. I'm gonna stop touching it, and maybe it'll sort itself out. Hi everyone. If it's still laggy, let me know.
Stream hacked by Oklahoma. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
we were shut down by the Oklahoma government.
Oh my god. Please, no.
Okay, it's like, oh.
Agents bust into my door, you know.
Yeah. Black sunglasses, suits on, you know.
Yeah. Honestly, I mean, culturally is the big issue here. It's more the people, because I think 90% of the people wouldn't be an issue. It's not like 90 to 95% of the people just don't give a shit, you know.
Yeah.
If they were to see me out and for some reason they'd be like, oh, that's a dude. Like if they were to say that, like it would be surprising. It's one of those. It's one of those that the loud minority is very loud.
The loud minority. I get that.
Mm-hmm.
And that's who I'm afraid of. I mean, just last year we've got an equality center here in town, and people shot at it like straight up.
What the fuck?
Yeah, like someone drove by with an AR-15 shooting at it. So it's shit like that.
Guns are bad.
That's a whole separate issue.
Yeah, it's a whole separate issue,
but I mean, the people are attacked here for it. That's the dangerous part, and it's not like the government won't do anything about it. Like police are gonna find out who did it. They're gonna do their best to.
But that person is still gonna get hurt. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing, and people are very, they're very strong believers, in their religions, and yeah. And it's kind of it's a weird thing. So like, and that's the crazy thing, because I've got friends like on my stream, people will be like, why don't you just go out like that? And I'm like, well, it's not exactly the same. I was like, I'm going to Disney in a few weeks. Like I'm not gonna have a single problem presenting the entire time in California. Yeah. I won't care about it.
No way.
But I mean, even when I went to Dallas, like I went to Dallas to visit a friend, I presented the entire time there. You know why? Because I mean, even it is better than Oklahoma.
Yeah.
I mean, then we come to Oklahoma and we've got these rednecks who were like, "Oh no, I don't know what this is. We gotta do something about it." Like, no, you don't.
I'm scared. Let's shoot it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Yeah.
Change is terrifying.
I've had similar experiences visiting the US when I was in Tennessee, and this was like before I had like medically transitioned at all, so I was still like pre-HRT and everything.
Yeah.
Like no one like approached me and ever said anything like shitty. But even in like Oak Ridge, which is a pretty like liberal town in Tennessee, and it's near Knoxville, which is like pretty liberal as well. I was getting like looks, and people were like giving me like the stink eye. But when I was in Madison and when I was in California, like these were both places where I had a really nice conversation with a guy in Madison who was selling. I think he was like homeless, and he was selling like the homeless like newspaper. And I had a really nice conversation with this guy, and he was like genuinely interested in like me being trans and what that meant and all of that. But yeah, it's weird going to different places and having like vastly different experiences.
I mean, it's actually kind of interesting because the city where I live, Edmonton, which is up here in Alberta, which many people call the Texas of Canada. It's not a city that is known to be particularly tolerant and or safe necessarily. If you go to the wrong fucking places in this town. And I think like knowing those things and like knowing what your sort of limits are and like where you think that you will be safe, you know, and be able to do the things that make you happy and stuff like that, so on, is the really important thing, right? Like, because you know, I say it every time we have a stream. I think like in every Trans Agenda episode, I think I've said like the whole safety first thing. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like above everything, don't get hurt. You know,
Yeah.
like that's very important. Yeah.
I mean, it's one of those things. I will say though, given the area, I mean, so I'm out to most of my family at this point. I mean, it's too much to hide. Like, when you walk in and you're wearing a shirt and it's not covering anything up, I mean, you're like, I mean, I can't hide these. They're definitely not something that go away. Sorry. You know, I got some pushback from my parents, but it wasn't real pushback. It was, well, we're worried about your safety.
Yeah, it was concern for you. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
For the most part, at least people from here, I've had 3 people that were legit just left my stream or my community, and that's all. But for the most part, people here, and it kind of brings to my point of, I don't know, I think that, you know, we're always worried about judging people, but transitioning here has changed or made me go with the opinion, like, I was pretty judgmental too, because there were a lot of people I'm like, they're gonna find out and they're going to scream and never talk to me again. Like, that's the way it's gonna go.
Totally.
And I mean, not to give like too much into my like super dude past, but I used to do like jiu-jitsu and boxing and stuff like that. And the best story I have for this is the hardcore like Marine voted for Trump as much as possible, kind of like thought would be like completely like hate everything person, turns out to be like one of the most like supportive people that I've met so far.
Yeah.
And I've noticed that at least around here, if people care about you and if you're friends, most of the time they're like, it'll be hard to get used to. So I've gotten lucky in that aspect. I've kind of had my mind blown. I actually got pretty shook by that guy because he came into my stream and he was like, whoa, this is a development. And then he messaged me to the side. He was like, we're going to support you no matter what. Like, you're still welcome here and we're still going to be your friends. Like, I had to end the stream 10 minutes later. I was like, I can't.
Yeah, you're just like a little shook.
Yeah.
So many emotions.
Yeah. So I will say the people are getting better here, because used to that wasn't a thing. Like, I got kicked out of a church when I was younger because a picture got out of a boy kissing me on the cheek, you know, and they thought it was the gays, you know, and now there's
oh no,
the gays.
The gays are taking over. So that kind of attitude has changed from the cultural perspective, and it's getting better in the city, I will say. If you're outside of the major cities here, either Oklahoma City or Tulsa, like, I'm not going to venture into those lands anymore. Yeah. Those are the dark spots from Lion King, okay?
I mean, I have enough, like, fears of the idea of trying to go into, like, rural England, and I don't even want to imagine, like, rural America.
Yeah.
I mean, if Far Cry 5 has taught me anything, I mean, never mind.
If Far Cry 5 has taught us anything, is that just bears just attack you.
So the actual situation in Far Cry 5 was actually a real thing that happened here. Not exactly, it didn't get to that extent, but a guy tried to start that in a town here.
Jeez.
Like, started to buy up all the property, was putting like his followers in it and everything else. And luckily he did something really, really stupid walking down the street with a gun threatening people. So they arrested him like before it even started up. But that was his plan. He was talking like this.
What the fuck?
Like, he set up these little tents. The initial opening tent that you see there's like a documentary with that actual like picture. So they definitely like took
like referenced it. Yeah.
It was wild. Yeah, Yeah, so I mean, those places exist around here. There's people like that. We've got these little militias that are kind of popping up, and the government.
Oklahoma sounds fucking
So
nuts.
it's not just Oklahoma. That's not just Oklahoma. It's more. There's like little militias that are forming up to take America back, and the government's doing shit about them. Like they're not just sitting there being like, "No, we're gonna let these form up."
Yeah,
but that's kind of yeah.
That's I mean that's crazy. That's crazy. I was just that was supposed to be a joke. I didn't realize that there was.
I know, but that's
America.
That's a thing.
Not even once.
What else? What else do we got? What else we got? Ash, you got anything?
Yeah. So, Kay, I'm wondering if you have like what advice do you have for trans women who are in areas that are
not safe.
Not safe. What advice do you have for like keeping everything on the DL?
I
like,
mean,
what is your go-to? How do you do boy mode?
Oh God. If you ask Moz or anyone from my chat, they'll tell you I don't have a boy mode.
Yeah, badly.
Yeah, I mean, I hate to say it that way, but I went into this new meeting and it was like meeting all these new people and everything like this and new companies, so I'm not out there, and I walk up and I'm like, hey, I'm Gross Name, you know, and they like look at me really quick, like they're like, really? And you're like, what's going on here? And they know something's afoot. Like they really do. So it's pretty funny to watch. I don't think it's gonna surprise anyone when I come out there though. Like after I get past that like 90-day period, like we get a probation period or whatever. I'm just gonna be like, oh yeah, by the way, yep. So, I mean, other than that, I mean, I boy mode, but I get mammed constantly. Like, we went to a movie theater, and it kind of hit me. The first time it happened, I was sitting there with my girlfriend, and we were walking around a Best Buy, and the manager walks up, and he's like, is there anything I can do for you ladies? And I'm like what? So, and ever since then,
turns out your camouflage is not as good as you thought.
Yeah, so I mean it's happening. People definitely refuse to gender me until I say something, and
yeah, like, that's one thing I've definitely noticed is people who I don't know if it's that they're doing it because they're like sensitive to like trans issues or because they just have no fucking idea what to say. But when they do everything except refer to you with like gendered pronouns.
Yeah. And it's one of those things. And like even when I'm out in public, like I deepen my voice as much as I can to not raise too many alarms. But that's whatever. Honestly.
If I can tangent for a second, I have something. I have a new thing that started annoying me, and I don't know how to deal with it. Right, so I was up in Liverpool this week or last week, and I was checking into a hotel, and someone else had booked the hotel for me because I was doing this conference thing.
Sure.
And they booked the hotel under Dr. Spindler, which I'm like, hell yes.
Yeah.
And so I go and check in, and I give the hotel my email, and they send me like a confirmation email that I've checked in with Mr. Spindler. And I'm like, well, now I'm pissed off for two reasons. Because first you've misgendered me, and you've
taken away my title.
And I don't know what to do. I don't know. What do I complain about first?
Order of importance. That's my recommendation.
First, it's Miss, and second, it's Doctor.
It's Doctor. If you just stuck with Doctor, none of this would have been a problem. Yeah. Here's one. Here's a question. For you, OhKay. say there were some freshly cracked eggs, quote unquote, in your area. The reason, you know, eggs, for those of you in chat who have no idea what I'm talking about new trans folks who, you know, are just coming out. Where do you start? Where do you start in like the US, quote unquote? Like, what's the first move?
So my first step was I started just by Googling. I was like trans friendly therapist. Like that's what I looked for. And my therapist came up, but I had two friends that had transitioned earlier on, or they weren't really friends, but they were acquaintances that I had on Facebook. And I reached out and I was like, hey, listen, on the down low, this is going on. Do you have any recommendations? And they recommended my current therapist, which was the first one that I found. And then I went in there and he started guiding me through the entire process. So it's really finding the resources and people that that know the way around. You definitely have to find people that are experienced in it. If not, if you're weary about even talking to someone about it, but I do like I'm the biggest proponent of therapy. I think it's if you get the right person to do it with, and I know that there's bad ones out there, but there's definitely really good ones too. I need to say that, but if you're completely just averse and you don't want to talk to anyone, Planned Parenthood. Planned Parenthood will do HRT for trans people, both for male to female and female to male. It's hard to get into. The waits are a while, but you can do it, and they do it on a sliding scale. Around here, it gets shut down occasionally, so access to hormones gets more difficult, but they will still write you the prescriptions at least.
Okay.
Just won't fill them at that point. But a lot of the people that go to Planned Parenthood can't really afford to go to a compounding pharmacy.
Yeah, you know? Definitely. Yeah.
So that's my suggestion. Therapy is always my first suggestion. I've had it was 2 days after I came out, and a parent of a kid hopped in and I was like, yeah, I ran into your stream and I've been looking around for, you know, someone to talk to about this, but my child, I like that because they said child because they weren't, and they were like, we're from, and I told them, I was like, well, I'm from Oklahoma. It's kind of difficult. They were like, oh, we're from here. And they immediately were like, what do we do? Like, how do I do this? And I was like, PM me after this. So I gave them the information for that. And the therapists around here really know their way. If they put themselves up as trans-friendly therapists, especially in like North Carolina or Oklahoma or Alabama, like any of those states like that, then
they're gonna know. They're gonna know what to do, right? Like
they're gonna know where to go.
So like first stop should be somewhere you think will have more resources for you, which makes sense, right?
Yeah, you need to just find a guide, honestly. Even if that's just like, if someone were to reach out to me for Oklahoma, 100% I would give you the deets. I would tell you where to go, who to talk to, and help you as much as I could.
There you go, Oklahoma friends. It's the call out right there.
If not, I would find someone that knew how to help you. So, I mean, that's kind of been my thing for a while now, so...
I know a bit about that, definitely. Edmonton wise, quote unquote, Alberta wise. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Ash, anything pressing on your mind? Anything weighing on your, or anything you want to say? Okay, that we haven't like addressed yet.
Oh, I mean, it's one of those things. I mean, I don't know. I just wanted to say, like, because I was thinking about it yesterday, and I had this influx of people. You know, I live in a really shitty area for being trans. It sucks here sometimes. It sucks to just live here, even if you aren't trans. I'm going to be honest.
Okay, fair enough.
It's really low income and everything like that. But the one thing that just really made me upset is I have a friend that's early on in her transition. And she's sitting here, she's like, I'm never going to be successful. I'm never going to have this. Because I'm trans. And I heard that and it like set me off. Like, I don't like that attitude. And areas like that do this to people, but people need to understand that being trans, at least anymore, I don't think will just kill your career or just ruin you like it used to. I mean, don't get me wrong, used to, if you came out as trans, it was difficult. But there's a lot of trans women, a lot of trans men who have made some very successful people. I mean, Ashley, just look at you. I mean, you've got a you've got your PhD now, you know. You're one of my favorite examples of like, y'all need to calm down. I'm gonna be honest. No, because that's and there's people all over the industry that are trans, especially IT, transportation. I mean, there's a ton of trans people, and they're all successful, but it takes a lot of work. It takes more work than not being trans. I'll say that.
That's the realness. That's the realness right there.
So you can do it. It's just going to be harder, but I mean,
I mean, I think you know, it's been said to me before that, like, you know, there are lots of different modes, quote unquote, life-wise, that can be considered hard mode right now.
Yeah.
And you know what's the best thing ever? Saying you won the game on hard mode.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just you know, we've respawned and we're playing on New Game Plus now. And...
Yeah. So I mean, that's just kind of my, like, I'm not gonna let being trans slow me down. It's not gonna happen. I mean, I've still got aspirations. I mean, obviously, I want my stream to grow. I want my career to be great. I want a lot of things. I want to continue, you know, being successful. Being trans didn't stop me from getting my degree. It didn't stop me from paying for it myself, buying a house. Like, there's all these little things that it just didn't stop at this point, and I'm not going to let it stop me. Like, absolutely not. So anytime someone tells me, you know, at this point, oh, I can't do this, I'm going to be like, excuse you. Like, there's
like,
going to be a bit of sass that comes out. Yeah.
Look at me, you're beautiful. And you're amazing.
Yeah.
And you can do anything.
You know, I feel a little bit outclassed. Both of you, such PhD achieving people, such educated individuals.
Yeah, but you're internet famous.
I dropped out of college. I couldn't deal.
A lot of people that aren't drop out of college. Like, that's the thing. And I'm guilty. I got on you a little bit. What was it? Saturday night? It was Friday or Saturday night that I came in there, and I had a couple of drinks, so I was a little feisty.
OhKay was like real feisty.
It made me like, because you were like, well, I mean, this is happening, but you know, you're pretty successful in your own rights. Like, success is not measured for the same for everyone. You're a pretty big inspiration for people. I mean, myself included, because I almost stopped streaming when I realized all this. I started streaming 2 months before I came out to myself. I was just like, and I was still that egg mode. I was just like, yeah, I'm only dressing up because I like to wear pretty things. I'm definitely not trans. Like,
definitely,
you know,
not.
But I was streaming and it was growing, and I was like, I'm still a really good player at this and this, and people are watching. So, and then it hit me, like the night that it hit me, actually, that I was like, oh shit, I'm trans. Like, you know, when it all just came crashing down, I was like, well, I'm not going to stream anymore. But then I just like Googled trans streamers, you know. And your article was the first one to pop up.
Am I at the top of that list? I'm going to Google it right now.
I think you still are. You probably are.
Yeah, second article. Second thing is that article.
Nice.
So at that point, I was like, screw it. If she can do it, I can do it. Like, I was like, I straight up. And
it's
then
true. I'm not special.
Yeah.
Like, at all, you know, like that's something I have to communicate. Like, I did my transition on stream. Like, all of that was like in the middle of my career, so to speak. I am not special. You can do anything I can do. All of you can. It's really not a problem.
So I mean, it was one of those things. So I mean, you're successful in your own right. Like, we've just got different careers with different parameters of success.
Oh, I agree. I was just saying you're both very educated, and it's lovely. It's nice to see. I many props, you know.
So sorry, I got on a tangent.
The tangent agenda strikes again.
Yeah. Okay, shall we open it up to questions from the audience?
Hit us up.
Chat. You can do it.
Hit us up, chat. Give us the desires, the things that you most wish to ask us. Ask us them. I'm gonna stare into the camera until you do.
Do that.
I won't be able to read the questions because I'll be staring into the camera, but Ash can do it.
Yeah, I can look at chat. That I can read.
Ash, please tell me there's a question.
This is not a question.
Much more difficult than I
Come on,
first
guys.
anticipated.
How to be cute like you? From Tom?
Estrogen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I always tell people.
I mean,
I stab estrogen straight into my leg. So I mean, there you go.
Mm-hmm. I take 3 of these little pills.
I'm gonna stop
every day.
doing that now. Nice. How long did it take you to not feel weird about a different name? Here's the thing, right? I still do. It's been years, and I still do. I actually feel like more people call me Elf than they do anything else in my life. And so when I actually hear my name, I'm like,
who?
Oh, that is my name. Oh yeah, okay, cool. Yeah, no, that's my name.
So I have to ask you a question on this. In that,
yeah,
I find, and I want to know your opinion on it because it's your name. But
totally.
when I'm talking to people who are not Twitch people that don't do streaming, and I tell them that I have this show, I refer to you as Violet.
Oh, cool.
Because I feel like referring to you as Elf is just gonna confuse people.
Probably. Yeah, my name is Violet, by the way, anyone who doesn't know. But yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where it's like I have like 3 names: the old one, the new one, and Elf. Yeah. You know, they're all kind of weird.
Yeah, I get the tricky thing. I went by my I had like an old gamer tag for the longest time, but I was like, how can I work Kaylee into a new name? Like, how can I make this happen? And then I came up with OhKay, and I was like, so now everyone just called me Kay for 10 months without any reasoning of knowing why.
Yeah,
and I was like,
Mm-hmm.
that's how I got used to it, but it was really weird the first time I heard like my full name from someone. I was like, oh shit, that's that. Yeah.
I had a moment a couple months ago when I stubbed my toe and I said like out loud, God damn it, Ashley. And then I had to like stop and think, I think that's the first time I've ever said my own name out loud to myself.
I've said my name at work before, so that was a little awkward. Because I messed something up and I almost tripped and I was like, Kaylee, what are you doing? And everyone in the meeting was like, wait, what are you doing? What? Like, they weren't paying attention, luckily, but I was like, I almost outed myself in front of everyone. So.
What else we got? Chat. What other?
Aeon, the god of eternity, wants to know how I get cute hair. I go to a hairdresser and I pay them a lot of money, and then they cut my hair. So my hair, my side panel is a 2. I normally get done, and then the rest of it I just like have it all cut like one.
Talking about your side panel.
So like I can't hear what you're saying, Elf, because I don't have the headphones on.
Oh, I was just gonna say, talking about your side panel makes me think you're some kind of robot or something. You know.
I mean, I might get like a circuitry tattoo.
That'd be pretty sweet.
Because that would be pretty cool.
That'd be cool. Actually, my hair growth, I've been taking hair vitamins, surprisingly, and those have helped. My hair's been growing a lot more, which is pretty great.
Are there specific vitamins for hair?
Yeah, I mean, they just kind of. Yeah, and it's not like it's just basically vitamins and biotin, like straight up.
Yeah.
It just takes a long time. There's no secret for like instant growth overnight unless you want to.
When I first transitioned, I wore a wig for like 3 months. 4 months, maybe. Yeah, because my hair was too short and I didn't like it. So when I came out on stream, I was like, okay, this is gonna be my new look until my hair is long enough that it's okay.
I had a wig for the longest time as well, and then I was like, screw it, wigs suck, and finally just let it flow.
So Adorable has a question for you lovely ladies, which is, how do you keep motivation during low depressive or dysphoric periods?
I don't.
Yeah.
I mean, we all of us went and like, yeah. I think it's important to acknowledge that those periods are not periods where you necessarily need to continue to have motivation, but they are periods where you should acknowledge that you're feeling that way, and do what you need to do to make yourself feel like better. You know, some people have routine. I certainly do when I'm feeling shitty or down on myself, and it isn't so much about maintaining motivation to do the things I was already going to do, but that like switching tacks to make sure that I deal with the fact that I feel a certain way today. You know what I mean? Like that sort of stuff. It's not about like keeping motivation up. It's about changing the direction of like where your day is going to go, you know?
Yeah. I think I really like, spoon theory, but I kind of there's a really great there's a Tumblr post that completely reframes spoon theory as wizard spells from Dungeons and Dragons. And I'm like, yeah, there are some tasks that are like a first level spell, some tasks that I can do every day, like eating breakfast or like a cantrip, and then sometimes I just don't, sometimes I just can't prepare like my fifth and sixth level spells of streaming and
Streaming's a 5th or 6th level spell. Damn.
it's a lot of, it takes a lot of effort.
I must be a high level wizard. I have a lot of those.
So for me, it's like streaming has always kind of been my. I mean, but keep in mind, like my area, I've got 2 just really close friends here that have known since the beginning. So
Yeah.
hanging out with them as me is kind of difficult unless they just come over, and I don't like people coming over to my house. I'm too much of a hermit, basically. But streaming is great for me because I sit there and, you know, Adorable, you've seen me on my off days, and I'll post it before I go live and be like, listen, y'all, I'm not feeling the best, but I just want to hang out with y'all and talk, you know, through feelings and everything else. And that's kind of always the way I dealt with it, but everyone's different. There's definitely not an overall answer. I just know that streaming has kind of saved me from that. Because, I mean, it makes me, first of all, it makes me get ready. Which I think is crucial. Being able to get ready recently, I mean, people have noticed I've been streaming a lot more recently, but it's because it gives me a reason to get up, get pretty, and actually, you know, do things. So that, and I just start talking about how I'm feeling and what I'm feeling. So
yeah, I mean, I think I'm a little bit similar in that, like, oftentimes starting a stream is the hardest part of stream.
yeah.
I'm like, oh god, I don't want to do this today. I don't want to be on camera. And as soon as it's on and I'm talking to chat and I'm like, I'm feeling a little bad, and chat's like, shut up, you're awesome. You know, everything.
Yeah.
It's fine after that.
That's I've got like two like some of the best people I've met has been through my stream, you know, and they've become amazing friends. So it's definitely a very important part of my feel better process.
Yeah. Cool. So BSZZ has asked, if I was to hypothetically come out to my dad today, how do?
I cannot tell you that. I do not know your dad or your situation or any degree of how safe you are in that particular instance. What I would say is keep your safety in mind above everything else. If you have a potential for getting thrown out of your house, or, you know, like ending up homeless or whatever, like don't don't. And then like wait, you know.
Yeah.
If you know your dad and you know that, like, even though you have fear in your heart that it's gonna go okay and everything's gonna be fine in the end, then, like, yeah, totally, like, do you know, approach rationally. But I can't give you advice on that because everybody's situation is different when it comes to coming out.
Yeah, that's
sorry if I jumped on that one, Ash. I know you know I kind of cut you off there.
Yeah, no, that was basically what I was gonna say. It's kind of tricky suggesting things to other people because everyone kind of does it differently. Some people, I know people who like write letters to their parents. I know people who just like walk into the room and be like, oh, I'm trans, bye, and then leave.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a tricky thing.
Okay, here's an interesting one from Dave. So Dave's like, this may be a bit of a weird one, but have you ever had an experience with being selected for things due to like kind of, you know, affirmative action? You get picked because you're trans. How did it end up making you feel? I have never felt like being trans is an advantage in any particular way.
Mm.
And if people have picked me because I'm trans, they have realized that they want me for other reasons after that.
Mhm.
I don't even know if that's ever happened because I don't consider it, and there are so many things I get turned down for rather than get like, you know, offered for that same reason. So yeah, that's not a thing. Like no.
So I feel like my answer to this is for things that I apply for that everyone is applying for. I don't feel like I've ever had an advantage due to like affirmative action type policies. I do feel that when I was, so I think I've told this story before on this show, but when I did my PhD interview, I was already out, but I went like in guy mode and all of that. And I kind of feel like I definitely feel like throughout my life before pre-transition that I was riding on my gender presentation as a male.
Yeah,
like I definitely feel like I definitely feel like I have to work harder now as a woman than I did before.
Oh yeah. I mean, we're just, people are like, it's not affirmative action, blah, blah, blah. We're just talking about it in terms of like selection process for anything. You know what I mean? Like that's just the terminology, not the actual like, we're not talking about the definition of actual affirmative action.
Yeah.
On it. We're talking about.
But there is another thing that because I do a bunch of like diversity talks and stuff, and I definitely feel like when people are putting on a diversity event, people come to me and be like, "Hey, Ashley, can you come and talk about your experience as a trans?"
Oh, sure.
person?
When it's like a specific thing like that.
Yeah. Because you're not gonna go and ask a cis man or a cis woman to be like, "Hey, can you talk about trans stuff?"
But that's just a matter of like experience.
Yes. Right? Yeah. Like I'm the one who has the experience for that.
Yeah. No.
It just so happens I'm like one of the only people in astronomy that openly talks about being trans in science.
Sorry, okay.
I mean, I haven't had. I'm not out at work yet. They just think I'm really gay there, honestly, and that hasn't caused any problems.
They just think I'm really.
I went out of my way to make sure to call my girlfriend my partner constantly and only use them they. Yeah. So at this point, like, they don't even question it.
They just don't know what direction you're getting.
Yeah, they just don't. They don't understand it fully. But I will say, like, there's no way that this creates an advantage because, I mean, after I came out, I shit you not, this weekend, 2 weeks later after coming out, you know, someone who has been in my stream for a long time, you know, I'm playing a game that I'm specifically like top 0.4% in, like just destroy people, comes in and he's like, "Hey, do you want me to come in and carry you?" Like in a serious tone. I'm like,
no.
What? So I mean, the second the estrogen, the second they figured out about the estrogen, they're like, "Oh shit, they can't be better than me now." And that's the attitude that I think people get with that, and that's leading me to the kind of, I don't think people will do that. It's definitely a hindrance because, let's be honest, a lot of people's egos are very fragile, and their opinions on a lot of things, like they think that with women straight up, like they're like, if you walk to a tournament or something like that, you know, the first thing that the guys do is talk shit. They're like, "Oh yeah, we'll kill those girls at this game," or something like that. That's just the way they talk. If they find out you're trans and female, oh, they cannot be beaten by you. And the same will apply in business or anything else. So there's going to be a lot of...
I just laugh at the assembled StarCraft community at that particular statement. I mean, one of the best StarCraft 2 players in the world is trans.
Yeah. So it's just, it's one of those things. You've got two things that people just... they scream whenever they figure out you're better than them, and they have to try and feel better about it, I guess.
Yeah, I think it may look, and here's the thing, Dave, like, you know, finishing off the question, so to speak, here's the thing. It may look from the outside that we get opportunities to talk about things that maybe other people don't, or we get opportunities to do or say things that other people don't. But those things are all to do with being trans or like being LGBT in some way.
Yeah.
Yes, I get asked to be on panels about being like LGBT, you know, so forth. Like that shit happens because yes, I am those things. I have that experience. But outside of that, anything that could be full of you know, of people of any type, let's look at the 90% heteronormative white male.
So there is a great statistic shown that in like business meetings, people or men tend to say, if something like 15 to 20% of the talking is done by women, the men in the room start to say this conversation is being dominated by the women in the room. Not at 50%, at like 20%.
I've got a great story for that. When I was an intern at the company that I worked for before this, I was sitting in a meeting, and it was with one of the directors of the company. We're talking right under the CIO of this company was like in the top 10 of the Fortune list when I was an intern there. Huge company. She's sitting there talking about something that's like, this conversation has occurred over and over and over again. And she brings it up, and he like brushes her off, and she gets a little mad. Like she's like, well, I mean, I don't appreciate you brushing this off. And the director of this company straight up was like, oh, you just feel that way because you're a woman. I'm not kidding on that. As an intern, I heard that statement, and like, I didn't even know what to say. I really, and she's just sitting there, and she's just used to it. So she slumps back up, and that's the attitude, like right there. That's my story for it. I mean, when you have executives at companies doing stuff like that, like what?
Yeah. There's definitely I don't know if it's necessarily a bias, but there's a perception that an individual woman takes up more room than an individual man in a meeting, even when they're not speaking anywhere near as much. And that's quite often, there is definitely an aspect of people with privilege being subject to be on a more even ground, being like, oh no, I'm losing something instead of everyone else is gaining something. Which is it's a very, very difficult thing to like reprogram in people. To feel like when they're losing a privilege, that's they're losing something that they earned almost.
I mean, I think so. I'm not seeing anything else coming up for the last.
I haven't seen any other questions.
Does anybody have anything last minute to throw at us they want to ask or they want us to talk about? Hit us up. We've got like a couple more minutes, you know. So yeah. If not, we'll just make our way. Come on, chat. You have one burning desire out there, I'm sure. One thing on the tip of your tongue.
Also, if people ever want to ask stuff privately too, I mean, I want people to feel free that they can like reach out to me if they ever want to know, by the way.
Vince, I can see what you're posting there in chat, and I agree with you. Okay, but Vince, I can see what you're posting there in chat. I'm glad that our representation helped you deal. I'm glad for that. You know, that's our jam. You know, that's what we want. We want to make it all easier for everybody. You know, the information must circulate, must be out there, so forth. But yeah, probably don't spam.
How'd you handle your first post coming out haircuts? Oh god.
Oh my god, it was awful.
I haven't had one.
Oh.
I actually reached out to my I asked my girlfriend if she knew anyone, and luckily she knew someone. She was like, I can reach out to them and be like, listen, here's the situation, because I have to pass, like I had to pass, quote unquote, as a boy while trying to have girlish hair at the same time.
Yeah.
So it was one of those, I like had to explain what was going on. Luckily, I just asked friends who I thought would be cool with it, and were like, hey, do you know someone? Yeah. So.
Yeah, my first haircut was terrible.
Oh yeah,
awful. I got I was convinced that I'd look really good with a pixie cut. And I reckon now I could pull it off.
But then you weren't into it.
But then yeah, I got it done, and like immediately I was like, nope, I hate this. Like I got like 4 inches of hair cut off for this pixie cut. And yeah, I grew that out for like at least a year and a half, I think, before I got my hair cut again.
I had to cut mine. I had a mullet, but like I was trying to let it grow, but the back was growing so much faster than the front.
Mm-hmm.
And then one day I turned to the side and I was like, that's gross. So I had to get it trimmed and everything, and ever since then, like I think it's pretty even now. So it's it was like you need that first trim, and then after that you're like, just let it grow.
Yeah.
So,
I literally haven't cut my hair since I transitioned. It's been 3.5 years.
How is your hair so good without a trim?
Ever. Yeah, never.
How? See, that's annoying, because if I were to do that, I would have split ends like free.
It's long enough I can pull off the like mermaid thing now, you know. Never. I've not.
God, I'm jealous.
I am so nervous of going to cut it that I have not. It's not because I don't want to get it cut or like styled or make it look better or whatever. It's just that I'm so anxious for that particular interaction that I can't do it. So we're just gonna deal with it until I can't deal with it anymore.
You're pretty much at the point now where you could like do the whole cut it off, donate it to charity thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, at some point, Elf, we're gonna meet up, and I'm gonna braid your hair, and you're gonna look like a Viking battle goddess, and it's gonna look amazing.
Sweet.
Okay, I think that's probably it.
Yeah.
For today. So thank you very much for watching, everyone. We'll do some shout outs. So Kay, why don't you give us some shout outs? Where can people find you on the internet?
You can find me on twitch.tv/OhKay. It's spelled like that, OhKay. I won the lottery with names on Twitch.
That's a hella good name. Yeah.
I got it the day after the Justin TV names freed up, actually. So you can follow me on there. I'm on there almost every single night by about 6 to 7 o'clock Central Time. So other than that, on Twitter, OhKay Plays, and in my Discord, where you'll find the link on Twitch. So,
Elf,
hello, it is I, mistress of the amazing hair, Distracted Elf. You can find me at twitch.tv/DistractedElf or on Twitter @DistractedElf, where I tweet things and stream things respectively.
Cool. Ash. Hi everyone, I'm Ash. This is my channel. You can follow me right here. If you're watching this on YouTube or like listening to the audio thing, then you can go to twitch.tv/AshleyNova and follow me there. I'm on Twitter @Ashley_Nova_. And you should all 100%, if you want audio versions of this, or you want to listen to a rad podcast where I play as a really messed up dragon boy, you should go to soundcloud.com/feelingsfirst. That's where all the audio versions of this and all of the podcast episodes for the new podcast go, because it's great. You should listen to that. And yeah, that's it. Cool. Thanks, guys. See you later.
Team.
Bye.